and you're listening to Blue Shirt
Underground Show,
the #1 Rangers podcast. Make sure you tune in and find out all the latest news. Let's go Rangers.
Blue Shirt Underground, motherfucker!
Can't BS a Ranger fan. Can't BS a Ranger fan.
This is an unlawful gathering. This is an unlawful gathering. The truth is out there. The truth is out there.
This is the underground. This is new media. This is the underground. This is new media.
Ranger fans, report to the critical thinking hangar. Ranger fans, report to the critical thinking hangar.
And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers. And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers.
This is New York Rangers hockey. 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 This is New York.
Oh, yeah. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Blue Shirt Underground Show. Today is Wednesday, December the 4th, and we are in a Ranger crisis. My name is Jim, and as always, I am joined by the one and only Eddie Geik. Eddie, good evening. Adversity has arrived. Had trouble getting that one out.
Adversity University.
That's what she said.
Yes.
How are you, sir? Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Well, yeah, good evening, man. I mean, we're going to try to dissect this thing tonight. I mean, people want yelling and screaming, and maybe we'll do that.
We may get there. It's got to be organic.
It's got to be organic.
It's got to be organic.
You know, this has taken such a strange turn that I certainly could not predict this. I mean, certainly the Rangers not playing well has not been a surprise. But this undercurrent of the backstory.
Yeah, it's an onion.
You really have to peel away. I mean, everybody, bottom line is the players are ultimately accountable for their play on the ice.
Right.
But there's so much drama, baby mama drama going on behind the scenes that it's new. And if I mention this every show that I listen to terrestrial radio, and they're talking about the Giants getting Deion Sanders' son in the draft. They're talking about all this stuff.
Jador.
They're talking about, the Mets re-signed Pete Alonso. This has the makings of a great story of what is going on behind this. There's so much she said, he said, and I don't know. It just seems like this would be a great story for them to grab on and investigate. But instead, we get drips and drabs from the beat reporters, and we get fake websites, a Hockey Buzz, and these other websites saying
the Hockey Plumber.
Yeah, we get a lot of stuff, and it's hard to disseminate what's true and what's not. But there's something going on. There is something going on, Jim.
There's something going on.
Frida.
There's
Frida
something
from ABBA.
going on.
Who played the drums on that song?
Oh, Christ. I don't know. Phil Collins.
That's right.
Are you serious?
I think he wrote it too. Dug-a-dug-dug-dug-dug.
Geez, now that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Now that I hear the song in my head,
You hear the drums? It sounds like
I hear the beat and the way that the sound of the song, it makes perfect sense. I swear to God, I never knew that.
wow.
And I do consider myself something of an 80s music aficionado, but
You are quite good.
I did not know that.
Did not know that.
Did not know that.
All right. So there's something boiling under here.
It would appear as such.
It would appear.
And I will tell you, and we're gonna take a peek at a little bit of it. I will tell you this, and I don't usually promote other podcast video shows. I don't do it. I promote this one. This is the one I'm invested in. This is the one I promote. But I do recommend, if you don't watch it, to check out the New York Post Up in the Blue Seats or Back in the Blue Seats, whatever they call it. We're getting Brian Boyle on there with him, and sometimes it's Molly, and sometimes it's not. But Larry Brooks and Brian Boyle are both a little more forthcoming, and I feel like a little more blunt than they are. Certainly more than Brian Boyle is on MSG. And Brian Boyle has been critical of the Rangers on MSG, but he takes it to another level, speaking truth on this New York Post podcast. And I think Larry Brooks is letting a few things trickle out in this podcast, this video cast, that he is not writing on paper. Why he's holding things back, I don't know. Maybe it's just to get people listening. You're going to hear something from Larry that he didn't write. That might be part of it. Certainly keep him wanting more. But it is interesting, and we are going to play a couple of clips from it.
Oh.
The one they did last week or the week before. I actually got turned on to this by, who was it? I don't know. It was somebody in our group thread, and I can't remember if it was Rob Scotty or somebody else, but whoever it was, I apologize for not remembering. Got me turned on to it. I sat and watched the whole thing, watched it twice, and then went back over it to find some spots that I wanted to focus on here tonight. And it's very good. Brian Boyle, fantastic. I thought to myself this morning, the Christmas show's coming, and everybody likes the traditional Brian Boyle rant on the Christmas show. And I'm almost starting to feel a little guilty about that rant. I hated him. I didn't like him as a player, but I do. I love him as a broadcaster. Yes, a new one came out today. Did you just sneeze?
Yes.
Gesundheit, sir.
Thank you. Goes in tight.
Goes in tight. And so I did. A new one did come out today. I haven't listened to that one yet, but we're gonna check out the one from last week. And there's one they did last week. This was coming off of this was before the Carolina game, so things hadn't even really
Unraveled.
they hadn't even turned for the terrible yet.
Yes, this was
now things have got. This was after. So this would have been. Okay, so this was after the St. Louis loss and the Edmonton loss, which were bad losses, but they were just coming off 3 losses in a row. Not exactly, not time to hit the panic button, but they were starting to see a lot of things they didn't like. Since then, they lost to Carolina. They lost to Florida. We had that very brief moment of fun on Saturday against Montreal, and then the absolute disastrous loss to the New Jersey Devils, which, mind-boggling, no one inside that organization seems to think they played badly in that game, Eddie. They're throwing flowers at each other. They lost 5-1. They liked the effort. They thought they had good looks. They got all kinds of shots on goal. They did this. They did that. You lost 5-1. You got your asses handed to you. You had a half-empty building by the end of the night. The Devils fans were mocking your goaltender. Devils fans were doing that stupid woo, woo,
Yeah.
woo all night long. There were audible "Let's Go Devils" chants in our house. So don't. You lost 5-1. You lost 5-1. I don't care if you had good looks. I don't. Bo Derek had good looks.
Yeah. Where's she now?
Right. She probably still looks good. I don't know. I haven't seen her since Tommy Boy, but
Yeah, she looked good there.
she did look good in Tommy Boy. But anyway, you got beat 5-1. There's no flowers when you get beat 5-1, unless you're a high school team playing the Florida Panthers.
No, it's not behind a paywall.
This team, and we're going to bring back the wheel of blame. The wheel of blame is fired up and ready to go. It's a virtual wheel. We're going to make it easier on both Eddie and I, so that Eddie doesn't have to try and figure out two cameras or holding up the wheel on. We're going to do this.
I just figured out Kelly this week, so
we're going to drag this show into kicking and screaming into the 21st century. And we're going to do a virtual wheel. I had Heather Thomas, Jeff, the pink bathing suit. That was the poster on my wall.
I had Paulina.
You had Paulina? Nice. So, no, the New York Post podcast, I don't believe it's behind a paywall, and it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
It's on just about any Ranger article on NewYorkPost.com links that podcast. So, yeah, you got beat 5-1, and, Eurotrash is excited. He fucking loves the wheel of blame, he said. This, you know what? This team does not give me the impression that they hate losing enough. They're too comfortable with it.
Oh yeah,
They're too comfortable with losing. Maybe that's maybe that's incorrect.
Right.
Maybe so. I think some of these guys do take it worse than others, but right now the fish stinks from the head down. I think the GM has made an absolute travesty out of this organization. He has ruined this team. When you thought he did as a player was bad enough, handicapping this team for years with a bad salary and the captain and that stupid fucking look at his head all the time. Now, this is a whole other level of ruining our team. I mean, this team's a mess. The GM is an amateur. He is an amateur playing a pro's game. And I'm sorry, Eddie, for rambling on here the first 10 minutes.
No, I want go, baby. Go.
I mean, we're looking at, so and if I forget some things, I'm trying to remember everything here, but we're talking disagreements that were made public with players, right? We all heard about the issues that he had with Panarin. I believe that was at the end of Gallant's second year, calling out Panarin, at practice, whatever that was. We all heard those stories. It wasn't rumors. There was discontent. We saw what went down with Kravtsov. Not all on Drury, absolutely, but it shows a pattern, as Big Pussy would say, a pattern. It's a pattern, right? Now he's completely mishandled this Trouba situation. Wanted to trade him, couldn't do it. Barclay Goodrow, again, I know some will disagree with me, but I don't think that was handled in the best fashion.
Well, Jim, what went down with Goodrow exactly? Because I'm not.
The way the story is told, the story that came out is that Goodrow found out about 15 minutes before he was placed on waivers that he was placed on waivers, and he didn't find out from the team. That's just, and I get it. Look, all the other side of that. I get it. It's a business. It's guys getting a contract, money, but fine. But the guy was a pretty good soldier, and you don't. That's the way you cast him aside. Then you publicly try and trade his captain. Then when the captain says no, exercises his right, whether you like it or not, that was his right. We've already had this discussion, so we don't need to have it again. But to make it public that you're trying to trade this guy to Detroit. And that he won't waive his, that he won't waive his no move, no trade, no whatever clause. So now he comes back to camp. You've got a goaltender who wants to get paid, depending on the day of the week, 9, 10, 12, 14, 38, or $92 billion. Distraction after distraction after distraction. The way the Gallant, him and Gallant screaming at each other over personnel. We heard about that going down towards the end of the playoffs against Tampa 2 years ago. You've got a GM who has no idea how to handle people. He is an amateur. And this roster, his big change to the roster, Riley Smith. That's it. Who 6 weeks into the season is a healthy scratch. So obviously Riley Smith doesn't appear to be the answer. He's an amateur. The trade deadlines that have come and gone with Alex Wenberg and who was the other
Jack Roslovic.
Jack Roslovic.
Mr.
Jack
12
Roslovic.
goals, 1 assist.
12, right? He's an amateur. And it starts with him. He's the boss. It starts with him. They're more of a mess now than they were with John Davidson and Jeff Gorton running things, and they got fired.
Jonathan Riggs also mentioned the whole Jim Ramsey fiasco.
Yeah, who knows what happened with that?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a minor thing, but it's just another little check mark under people's skills and the relationship you have with them and the fans. Do you think now? I don't know if Peter Laviolette is protecting the team or whatever, but you cannot come out and talk to the Ranger fan base after a 5-1 loss to an absolute rival where, you got 40 shots on net. You got, and there was like 25 blocked in that game. And come out and you got drubbed. You got embarrassed on your own eye and come out and put any kind of positive spin on that. You just can't.
Right. You're down 2-0, 6 minutes into the game. Should have been 3, could have been 4 in the first 10 minutes of that game. They would have gotten, they could have gotten run out of the building in the first 10 minutes of that game. And by the way, we got to talk about this Steve Valiquette controversy that's going on now with this whole comment he made about Jack Hughes. Did you hear about this?
No, I did not.
On Jack Hughes' breakaway, he said Jack Hughes tried to embarrass Igor and that the Rangers should have stood up for Igor.
Yes.
It was just like, shut up. You know what? He made the save. And don't bring more attention to a 5-1 loss because that's all it's done. Because now they got to go talk to Jack Hughes, and Jack Hughes is like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" And I'm sitting here like, "What the fuck is he talking about?"
Yeah, well, the thing is with Vagistat, I thought he really took that loss about. He took it worse than the fucking Rangers did. The coach did. Right. I told you I was agreeing with him a lot of what he said. He was like, yeah, because that was the comment where he said the Rangers should have been pissed off after they tried to embarrass he tried to embarrass Igor. And he was like, the Rangers defense hasn't been good since, they lost that game to Florida way back when.
Right.
So which I was like, okay, I'm on board with that, but I was not privy. What's his issue with the embarrassment? I didn't see anything.
That he just thinks that the Rangers, that Jack Hughes was trying to embarrass Igor, and that somebody on the Rangers should have went after Jack Hughes.
What, that he had a breakaway?
He said, if that had happened in my day during his storied 52 game career, Colt Noor would have been banging on the boards with a stick, yelling, "I'm coming for you."
Oh yeah. Also, the puck would have went in the net.
Right.
It felt like I was in that. Yeah, I did.
And the other thing I didn't mention was, and Larry Brooks talks about this too. I don't remember if I have this queued up, but it is in that show that they did last week. Larry Brooks talks about, this is a guy that's covered the Rangers or covered hockey for, I think he said 5 decades. He said this was he said even when Callahan was here and Girardi and Hank, he said every night you'd go into the locker room and everybody'd be in front of their locker room. He said it's only the last couple of years that you have to request. What's up, Chris? That you have to request to talk to somebody, or not everybody comes out. But he said that Trouba and I think Adam Fox, and there was somebody else didn't come out and speak to the media after I believe it was after the Flyers game. Maybe it was one of the losses before that. They start to run together after a while. Just a bad look when the captain doesn't, when your leadership doesn't come out and talk to the media after the game. Trouba did come out last night or Monday night after that drubbing, as you called it. Good word. He did come out and speak to the media that night. But, guys are hiding now.
Okay.
This team's a mess.
Oh yeah, big time. All right, let's do. I said we started off with we're going to dissect, we're going to investigate, we're going to conjecture, because that's all we can before we get to these clips. What do you think would make the Ranger players not want to come out and address the media? And let's face it, this media is not like hard hitting. This isn't like firing line. This isn't like
this isn't like New York baseball media in the 1950s.
Right.
You know what I mean?
This is a softball media. They're not going to really try to piss off the fact that they have to get access to players.
Right.
And this kind of harkens back to what Rick Carpinello said why he kind of got out of the game. It's like, 2 years and I haven't had a conversation with Chris Kreider. The access is being, all right, shame could be, I'll take shame. But is it, I just don't want to answer the questions? Or, guess what? They're screwing me on the other end. Why should I give them something? Like, I'm speaking about from like management and stuff. Or they're just embarrassed, or they're just...
I think they're mentally weak.
The minds are weak?
I think they're mentally weak. I think you see it. I think you see it every night with these starts, giving up these early goals. I think they're mentally weak. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Chris.
What's up, Mike, Matt, Connor, John? Good to see everybody. The gang is all here. We got some crowd in here. My goodness. Kim's here. Joe Mama's here. Danielle is here. Upwardly Mobile. Danielle Stewart. Brett Anderson is here. Just looking around. John Riggs, Jeff Drexler. Paul is here from Portugal. I love it. Worldwide, baby. Worldwide.
Well, I've got their pussies. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, just come out. I mean, they're not going to ask you. You think what Chris Drury did to you is it's permeating throughout the locker room, and they really just don't want to play for this guy. They'd rather see him go. I mean, they're not going to ask that. They're going to be like, "What do you think? Any answers to the bad starts?" Okay. I could buy that, Chris. I'm down that. Michael Halleck has just stepped in.
Matt Zenobia is here. Max Landerman is here. What's up, John? John K.
Okay.
All here.
What we do know is
Dr. B.
The lack of effort on the ice by 90% of this team is lacking. It's unacceptable. I hate to be one of those people like, I have a standard, but for any NHL team, it's unacceptable to be puck watching.
We do have a standard. We should have a standard. We're the supporters of this team. We should have a standard. What do you want? What have you said for years on this show? All you want to do is what?
I want to go to the show. I want to win.
But
what else do I say?
More than that, you want.
I want to be proud of my team.
You want to be proud of your team.
My team, yes.
There's nothing wrong with that. You want to be proud of your team.
Yeah, I don't want to be a laughing stock.
When your team gets embarrassed 5-1 by a rival in your house,
I can't be proud of that.
Can't be proud of that. There's no flowers for that.
Jim, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to share something to you guys that the Rangers have been playing so badly. I'm afraid to look at the standings. I'm not even looking at the standings right now. I don't know where they are. I don't want to know where they are. I just know they're El Stinko. Now, yes, I think they've quit, which is a disservice to their coach, because I think he's a good coach.
I do too. He's a good man, Sam.
He's a good man, Sam. But the bottom line is they're getting paid to play, and what are you just going to lose to Spike Drury? I don't understand. Or is it just like, this guy's a dick, we're out of here? Like, and your captain is the most aggrieved guy on the roster because of Drury. He's the one Drury has chafed the most.
Right. Nobody's got a bigger axe to grind.
I don't know.
And of course, the minute you say you don't want to know, Cutter's got to tell you.
Right.
He's got to be that guy.
Fourth in the Patrick division. Okay.
Right.
It's a good one, Larry. I don't know. Ulf Nielsen. I'm just answering questions in the chat room, but all right. So we got the Drury with the Trouba with the Tradium. Then he comes out with the he leaks the leaks. I mean, the leaks that the Rangers are open for business. Let's trade. This is not a good look at game 15 or 20.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're a team that's got a winning record. That where the rest of the league, come on, we're ready to deal. Meanwhile, you only have a couple guys to deal. And one of the most successful Rangers in the last 10 years has been Chris Kreider, who we've been saying for the last couple of years that his name is going up in the rafters, and they're looking to trade him. Elliot Friedman up there in Oshkosh, Bagosh, Deer Head, Ontario, is reporting that the Rangers are going to trade Chris Kreider.
Fans are turning on him now, too. Well, now I'm seeing it. Fans are turning on him. And, and look, Eddie and I have talked about this. There are two things that are really good for Eddie and I when it comes to this show. When the Rangers are really, really good, or when the Rangers are really, really bad. Because when the Rangers are really, really bad, the fans, they turn on the team, they turn on the organization, and the fans turn on each other. And I love it. I love it. I love to watch the fans at each other's throats. I love it. Everything everybody suggests, the stupidest fucking move, that's a weak take, this is a lame take, you're an idiot, You're this, you're that. All these people want to trade this guy. They don't know what they're talking about.
Yes, that's true. Everybody's got the solution, and everybody sticks to their positions, and it becomes kind of fun to watch.
Everybody's got the solution, and everybody else thinks, and everybody else is an idiot.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what I know.
Yes, it's why are they turning on Kreider? He didn't just have an expletive laden interview, or he's dropping the F-bomb all over the place. What's that all about? I mean, Chris Kreider. I mean, this guy is a upstanding, good Christian young man. Very private. I don't know if he's Christian, but.
I was going to say, I don't know he's Christian.
I don't know. He's an upright citizen, and all of a sudden he's going, fuck this, fuck that, fuck me, fuck you, fuck everybody. Well, Chris doesn't make a good point here. There are some guys that you cannot criticize. We went through this with Henrik.
By the way, Chris Kreider just named to the U.S. Four Nations team.
Oh, come on. This is another thing.
Along with Adam Fox and Trocheck. Mika Zibanejad will play for Sweden. And I hope
stay there.
I hope he finds work while he's there.
I don't know what this Four Nations thing. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's a
Oh, here
distraction.
you go. Chris Kreider on Team USA is a war crime.
Really?
That's what.
That's serious.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's.
Well-
Oh, here, Chris Kreider being on USA, and it's a clown. It's a clown makeup.
but I'm not even going to watch this. Why are these people taking it so serious? I don't care. I don't care anything about the Rangers are my number one priority. I don't care about fucking tournaments. When is this tournament going to take place? Don't tell me in the middle of the season.
In the middle of the season, February.
Get the fuck out of here. We're in the middle of a free fall and they want to have a tournament? No. Exactly, Mario. I went to the Four Nations Casino a couple years ago and lost my shirt. Thank you, Mario. I credit you for that joke. I mean, this is... Why are they having a tournament? The Rangers are... our season is dying here. So this is the Kreider backlash. I thought that everybody would applaud Kreider for dropping the F-bombs in that interview.
Right. Here's a tweet. I'm so happy. I've hated Chris Drury forever because imagine watching this team and thinking, yeah, Chris Kreider is the problem. Chris Drury is an egomaniac fraud. Fire Chris Drury.
I agree. What the fuck? You're right, Diane. Fuck a tournament. Win 3 or 4 in a row. We're in a tournament to make the playoffs. Come on. 4 nations. They only got 4 nations because there's no other nation wanted to be part of it. God. What does this happen during the All-Star break or something? February?
Yeah, February. There's a 2-week break in February, and that's what it is.
Stupid. Who's going to go to this shit? Only Canadians like this shit. They're just like Canadians love hockey. They'll watch anything. Really. I mean, they follow hockey. That's their sport. But down here in the States, this thing's on Netflix and shit I want to check out. All right.
Should have traded Kreider years ago. Should have traded Zibanejad years ago. Should have kept Buchnevich. Should have never traded for Trouba. There's a word for that. I think it's called hindsight.
Yes. Monday morning quarterbacking.
Right.
Yeah. Cancel this fucking tournament. All right. Yes, I like the World Juniors Championship.
It's not even worth to expend energy hating Chris Kreider because he sucks that bad.
Well, I don't know what they're watching. This guy is all right.
But then if they trade Chris Kreider, I will never watch a Rangers game again.
Yeah, there you go.
You gotta love Twitter.
But here's my take on Kreider. I mean, he's the only guy that got a goal against the fucking Devils. He's good on the power play. You know, he's got some detractors. I mean, you know, he's got no assists.
He's never been an assist guy.
He's never been.
He's never been an assist guy.
I feel like Trouba gets, you know, he's a whipping boy, but they all stink right now. For a handful, I mean, there are a couple young guys I feel are playing well. But, you know, how about Alex Lafreniere? He's been on 8 goals for like freaking 2 months.
Since he signed a contract.
Yeah.
Feels like he's slowed down a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you can't criticize him right now.
I can criticize whoever I want.
I know you can, but
America, baby.
It goes to a point, I forgot.
Land of the free, home of the brave.
But it's funny how some guys they get a pass in all this, But other guys, especially if you're young, you can't really be, you know. But if you're a veteran and you get paid, you're going to get fucking cremated right now. And Keandre, pack your bags, Keandre.
Keandre, pack your bags.
The biggest pylon in the NHL.
Biggest pylon in the NHL per Sean Avery.
Hey, can you play that clip for these people? You have that ready?
I can actually. Just give me 1 second. I got it. I got it somewhere.
We did this on the post game on the Patreon. If you haven't signed up for Patreon, I think I broke the record for most times joining a post game already. With 2. We played this. Sean Avery, he broke out the pointer again and was breaking down, the Rangers' flaws. So let's listen to what Sean had to say.
You're going to see Braden Schneider up at the top of the screen here, 4 blue. Nice play. He's coming underneath, and then he just skates himself into fucking traffic. A nothing burger. Should have dumped and chased. New Jersey turns it up. You got the biggest pylon in the league, Keandre Miller, doing nothing.
And
then it's to the back of your net. All right, Will Cooley delivering pizzas across the middle. Can't deliver a pizza across the middle. Nope, got to dump it in. Pizza, delivery. Thank you very much. Watch Capo Caco stick check. I'm going to call him Zorro from now on. Watch this. Watch the stick check. Zorro, boom, like the pointer stick. Back of your fucking net. Bingo.
We don't need to watch the Jack Hughes breakdown.
Yes.
Helen Yoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Yoon.
One of the originals. Hello, Helen. Helen is the mayor of Rangerstown.
She is. She's at every event.
She's in every event, every picture.
She's at every picture.
Every picture.
She's also the official nurse, I think, of BSU.
Also the official nurse of BSU.
She once worked on Costa's leg when he broke his tibia.
Costa might be a cripple if not for Helen.
Yes. We're doing good. We're doing good. We're trying to dissect and investigate why the Rangers stink.
Trying to make sense of it all.
Joe Mama disagreeing with Mr. Sean Avery. The shooter belongs to Igor. Igor can't get beat. All right. Hey, Sean's not always right. I think he might be right on the biggest pylon in the NHL, though.
He's right. He's right about that.
Yes. So, and then you've got, all right, we get a little response from Kreider, in the locker room. And now I'm here. I read as we were going on air or we were on air, a lot of guys are reporting. And I am out of the loop with this, that there's some kind of baby drama mama going on with Keandre Miller's agent, who is also Barclay Goodrow's agent.
Good. Keandre, pack your bags. Good. Go.
What can you guys clarify what you were talking about? And what's your source? Because right now we're getting a lot of
Tasty masterpiece.
We're getting Uncle Joe's cafe there. What was Joe Catroni's his Alta Vista website he used to run back in the day? So, I don't know. Oh, get rid of this, get rid of that.
Per Vince Bercogliano, Keandre Miller and his agent are eyeing a significant raise on his next deal.
Raise!
I don't know if it break out my Ricky Ricardo laugh, but it's just so ridiculous.
Oh, raise. Keandre, pack your bags.
Keandre, pack your bags.
Wow.
San Jose. Are
you kidding me?
The way to San Jose.
A raise.
Keandre, pack your bags. Goodbye. You and your agent. You're going to love Calgary.
Wow.
Goodbye. Get out of here, you bum.
You gotta be kidding me. This guy's throwing up one of the worst seasons I've ever seen. He wants a raise. Shave that stupid hair.
You are a bum.
A little louder. A little louder. I love that.
Helen Yoon saying Keandre needs to go away, far away.
You are a bum.
You gotta be kidding me. Daniel Stewart is wait, is that real? According to Vince Mercogliano,
That's the word.
that's some major stones. I got to give a credit to that agent. This guy was what was he, a -3 in the last game? I need a raise, boss. Oh, you can't even
He's a
make this shit
-3
up.
in every game. Ron Duguay, green light on Miller. Trade him. Keandre Miller is that player that a GM will hold on to forever because they're afraid he might put it all together on a different team. He needs to go.
Yes, Joe, your GeoCities website, which I did stumble upon way back in like 1997. Was something around there. Yeah.
Whose website?
Joe used to have a website.
Oh, Joe's website. Oh,
yeah. It was like one of the few out there that were Ranger centric. Okay, so you got that stupidity. I mean, when did this happen? The Rangers in the middle of a fucking losing streak, and this fucking dope is asking for a raise? The Rangers look like the Keystone Cops in their own zone. Talk about bad timing. Yeesh. Well,
Keandre, pack your bags.
That's what. If I'm a racist and I I'm going to try to say this. If trading him makes me a racist, guess what? I am full-heartedly. I want him traded. That's all I'm going to say. I just again. This is just
-8.
He's a -8. Give me
I don't
a
know
raise.
how he's only a -8 when he's on the. When it seems like he's on the ice for every goal, but
wow,
he wants the raise.
Joe Mama's. It's true.
Speaking of honeymoons, it's like he wants a reference.
This
the
guy
bum wants a reference. The applicant
he
is a bum.
He brings down the play of every guy they pair him with.
Right. But
That's
everybody
so-
blames the other player. Schneider's holding them back. Truba's holding them back. Fox is holding them back. This guy couldn't play with Chelios.
Well, I've got to disagree with our former, our most recent guest, Peter Baldwin, that when you say he's in the top 6, he's not. You know, they said, "Oh, who else you going to play?" Well, I see. It just turned into this again. We'll stay on Keandre for a couple more seconds. He doesn't bring any offense. That's the thing. You can live with all the defense if he's bringing defensive mishaps. If he's bringing offense, he's not even bringing that.
4 points.
4 points. He's not even remotely what he was advertised or what he and again, first couple of years. Now it's just shit.
And we haven't we have it. Wow, we got a huge crowd here. But I'm just I keep looking at the number. We did a Patreon show because we had we were tight on scheduling last week, so we did a Patreon show for our Patreon members last Wednesday night, post Carolina game, and we were talking about Keandre Miller, and he is at the time I said he was on pace for 16 points over a full season. Now it's even less because 2 more games have passed. He's an offensive defenseman. He's on pace for 16 points.
He's athletic.
Enough. Mancini has the same amount of points in 10 games up here.
Give me a raise.
Like Danny's saying. What's up, Danny McGillicuddy?
Give me a raise.
He wants a raise.
He wants a raise.
You are a bum.
Bill Chadwick chiming in. Poor Bill. We love you, Bill.
Oh, yeah. Certainly Jones is... I'm sorry.
So I spoke to Peter Laviolette today.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, that's good.
It was a video call. He was on the screen talking, answering questions. But he was nice enough to talk to me. And he said that he thinks the 3 days off, which I'm grateful for because I needed 3 days off from this team. He said it's good. Reset, regroup, whatever. Recalibrate. Sure, you want to use that one. Reset, return, refund, refund, regurgitate. Said it might be good for them. I wonder how much of that is he's trying to convince himself at this point. Deanna's here. Deanna says Mancini FTW. I agree. Mancini's awesome.
He's a good man, Sam. All right, so he thinks it's good. What happens if the Rangers come out and lay a fucking egg and lose?
I don't know. Reject, relax, retard. I don't know. Anybody that's on the coach is going to get fired or coach should be fired. If you're on the coach should be fired, I don't understand why. I don't understand who you think could coach this team better. How did this guy go from being such a good coach last year to not such a good coach this year?
Well,
what makes you think that for some of these guys that the fourth coach will be the charm? I'm asking the question. I'm not trying to be accusatory. I'm just asking the question. What makes you think that what David Quinn, Gerard Gallant, and Peter Laviolette couldn't accomplish, that fill in the blank here could accomplish? A lot of people talk about Joel Quenneville because he's demanding. I thought that's what Peter Laviolette was. I thought that's what the Rangers wanted, was a demanding coach who would hold them accountable. I thought that's what they wanted. I thought that's what they got. Now he's not enough. Well, what's next? Joel Quenneville. What comes after him? Mike Keenan. What comes after him? Mussolini? Paul Pott?
Tortorella.
Tortorella.
Well, yeah, I think, there's two things. The Ranger fan is so upset right now. They want somebody to represent them as a coach.
Heads on a pike is what they want.
Right. They want somebody to vent their frustrations. It just doesn't work that way in today's hockey. I would like a little bit more frankness from the coach. I understand he has to protect his players and not name names, but you could just come out there and say, listen, the way we played tonight, we stunk the joint up. We got to get it together. We'll try to fix these things. We've been teaching these things to them during practice, but once it's game time, the puck's in the back of the net before Jim's ice in his soda.
Right.
Is not even, melted.
I haven't even poured my tea yet. We're down 1-0. And it's funny, like Jen's been working, she's been working. She works nights. She's been working the last couple weeks, and she starts her shift at 7:00. So she's not always able to follow along with what's going on with the game if she's busy at work. And I'll just text her at like 5 after 7, and I'll say they're losing already. Oh, they're down 2-0 already. they look awful.
Right.
It happened like 5 times this season. They're losing already.
No, I agree. And so I think that's one of the reasons. And then now I think people, and this, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I think there are a lot of people, I don't know if you call this schadenfreude. I guess you do. Where people are still upset that Gerard Gallant got fired. There is a certain segment of this team fan base that is upset because Gigi, although he did not know any of the players' names and didn't know anything and took absolutely no responsibility for any Ranger loss, he projected a aura of toughness, right? Because he was one of the best players, fighting and skill wise. Really, there he is, the late great Gerard Gallant, who has been scooped up by many teams since he's left.
The late great Gerard Gallant,
who was immediately scooped up by every team because he was such a great coach, who's been left at the taxi cabs and bus stops all over this great nation.
What's up, Chris Russo?
Yes, I mean, yes, and again, I think they don't like the Laviolette. They didn't like the move, and I think Ranger fans have been waiting to pounce as soon as Laviolette stumbles, and I've seen that in certain sectors of the fan base. Again, what I think the worst thing they could do, since I am I don't even know how to pronounce it. I guess I'm a Forsaken Jet fan. What I watched happen with, now the Jets stink no matter what. No matter what, they stink. But when they fired Robert Saleh, 6 games into the season, and went to this you Brecht, whatever his name is. That was a disaster. You cannot fire your coach 20 games in when you have a winning record. Even though it's not acceptable, the play. I just think, and Joel Quenneville, and like Helen Yoon's talking about, is a good coach. But he's got a lot of baggage, and he's a public relations nightmare. Now, people don't care about people's past or whatever, but that Kyle Beach situation with the sexual assault and all that shit, especially in New York, I can't see it ever flying. You know what I'm saying? I can't see it being overlooked.
No, I don't think it. But if you're going to hire the guy, then you don't overlook it. Then you have him come in and you have him sit with the press and do a stop till you drop press conference. You answer every question. You apologize. You say you've learned from it. You explain everything as best you can, and you move on. Somebody's going to hire him at some point. But he is, regardless. I'm sorry, but Chris Drury doesn't get to hire a third head coach. He doesn't.
No, he's
done nothing to warrant that. Nothing. Glenn Sather hired 12 head coaches. I mean, enough with this. If a coaching change is deemed to be what's necessary, then the GM has to go with him. And if they want to hold a fire Drury rally, we'll organize this one so the Rangers won't have to lie about it. We will gladly stand up and say, sure, we'll organize it.
We'll get the permit
and hate us for it. Banish us for it.
Who was the guy who organized that again?
It was well, I mean, there were a couple of people, but it was what the hell was that guy? Mike Zippo.
Mike Zippo, yeah.
And that was also how we connected with Marcy Braverman way back when.
Right, yeah.
Because she was part of it.
I think his dad was a cop or something, and got us the permits.
I don't remember.
Fire jury rally. I can get into that. But how does that happen? How does jury get fired? That means Dolan has to be paying attention.
Well, keep hearing devil's cat calls and Igor, mocking at the Garden at home games against your rivals. Hey, Dolan didn't like what he saw when Panarin got ragdolled by Tom Wilson, right? That led to sweeping changes in the organization.
Yes, Ryan Reeves came in. What a deterrent he was.
Oh,
Joe. What's Tom Rennie up to these days?
Tom Rennie's got his own problems.
What's going on with him?
I think he was part of the front office up in Team Canada with that junior team. I think he was.
Oh, really? Tom Rennie is a.
I think he was part of that front office that supposedly might have
cabal
covered that up or whatever that was.
Right.
That whole thing that went down. I think he was involved in that. So I think he's got his own problems. Oh God, Colin Campbell.
Sam, he's in the Hall of Fame now.
Good for him. Hey, I wish him $1 million. He had a hell of a playing career, and he had a hell of a playing career.
I don't know. His son played in the league. We got protests now. Stop buying merchandise. That'll never happen. There's just too many casual fans that just, it's just not going to happen. All right. So we have that solution. Is a jury. We have to fire the coach. I don't think I like this coach, but he's got to light a fire under their ass. I don't know how you do that when the culture is. I don't think they want to play.
Thank you, Danny.
It is the same exact team, Chev. I agree. I mean, Riley Smith is not the answer. He was healthy scratch 2 games ago.
No, and who saw that coming except for all of us?
I know. That's what the frustrating thing is, being part of being a fan of this team and being so into it. That we're occasionally surprised and say, listen, that was a move they made. I didn't think was a good one. Like when they got Jonathan Quick, I said, why are they getting this guy? He's washed up. And for the most part, actually the whole part, he's been stellar. I mean, he's been stellar. But there are times when you're pointing.
Yeah, well, because I before this comment goes away, I don't want to forget about it. Puck Rock Rangers says a lot of people, if the Penguins fire Sullivan, the Rangers would scoop him up. And that's the guy Drury's always wanted. But here's one thing about Mike Sullivan. Does anybody know who Mike Sullivan's assistant coach is? I don't think that team is coming to New York.
Who's
David Quinn is his assistant coach.
Oh, wow. Sully. David Quinn.
I don't know. I know.
I remember Mike Sullivan's power play.
I know that's who he wants, but he doesn't get to hire another coach.
Yeah, I agree with Jim wholeheartedly. This guy's he's an amateur.
If Craig Patrick wants to come in as general manager, if he wants to hire Mike Sullivan, that's fine.
I feel like the players are really.
I just think this team is a bunch of coach killers. Mentally weak.
Yeah, I feel like it just run its course. Like the epic playoff runs. And when I say epic, they've gone deep in the playoffs. They've won the President's Trophy last year. And now they're kind of like, I hate to use the word malaise, but it's just kind of like, what are we here for? We come up short every year. We accumulate a lot of wins, and there are certain guys that have been on the team too long. There's no fresh face. I don't know who's a lead. Who's a leader on this team? Chuba can't be a leader. He doesn't know what's going on.
He's got 1 foot out the door.
Right. And Chris Kreider is struggling. He's a leader. Apparently, he's the guy who takes the losses the toughest and more willing to talk about the losses than the wins. Well, he's got a lot of talking to do lately.
Right. But he's also, how hard for him to be a leader when his name's all over the papers,
right?
Papers, social media, and the media,
right. The papers.
the papers.
Yeah,
he might have 1 foot out the door or half a foot.
Right. When you're hearing, well, everybody's available. Oh, we're open for business to all 31 other teams. Come on. I mean, this is counterproductive. Why put that out in the ether? That's irresponsible general managing. It's amateur hour.
It's absolutely.
It's like I'm playing a board game with hockey players, and I tell everybody in the league, we're losing it. Everybody else is, whatever. You come to me, no trade. I'll consider every trade. And it's like you're dealing with human beings, and I know they get paid a lot of money, but they want to know that they're valued, and they've given a lot. I know they get paid. You're going to tell me $1 billion. I'll never earn that money. But they do have extreme pride in what they do. And when you got a guy like Chris Kreider, who has, changed his game around, he's an elite power play performer, a guy who was on the precipice of 40 goals, has gotten 50 goals in this league, probably one of the best Rangers. He's about to pass Camille Henry on the power play goal all time. A guy who's been a great playoff performer, come up with some of the most clutch Ranger goals, and he hears, well, I'm on the trading block too. And then, of course, Keandre Miller's agent is like, let's ask for a raise.
Keandre, pack your bags.
I mean, it's yes, that's right, because he's also great shorthanded. Say it again. I do it again. I missed it.
You are a bum.
That always makes me laugh.
You are a bum.
And Kreider's been around there since 2011, 10. So he's got like
11, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so he's got 13 years invested in this league, and that jury just wants to toss him aside.
Right.
His name is going up in the rafters, and Chris Jury's putting him out there just because, and I don't know who, I don't go through the contracts. Maybe you guys can in the chat room. With the no movement clauses and all this shit, and I don't know what GM is responsible, who's responsible. Just because he's one of the guys they can move the contract, his name is thrown in there. So to me, he's at fault for this. But again, I cannot excuse the players. The players got to go out there. You got to hate to lose, man. I mean, you said that in the beginning of the program. You lost to the fucking Devils. You got fucking pummeled.
You got housed.
Yeah. And I mean, right now it's very frustrating, and the Rangers got to dig themselves out of this. They got to sack up and say, listen, we got to turn, but there's too much noise. And when is something going to happen? You know what I'm saying? There's all this noise, but nothing happens.
Well, the other problem is that, from what I've read, some of the national guys that I try and keep up with, most of the other GMs in the league, they're not looking to deal this early in the season. They're not looking to make any, they're not looking to do anything earth-shattering right now. It's all about the trade deadline. It's all about the 2 weeks leading up to the trade deadline. So, I think he has handled this badly in just about every possible way he could. Like I said the other night, he went through the manual that tells you exactly how everything should be handled, and he does the complete opposite of what the manual says. You want to check out some of these clips?
Yeah, let's check it out.
All right, I have this bookmarked in a couple of places, so let me do this first. This one, okay. I think. All right, there we go. Okay.
Which one is
to
Larry
make of this
Brooks? I'm joking.
entire situation and the idea that these guys are open for business, and especially when it comes to Chris Kreider and Jacob Trouba?
I think the results have finally caught up with the Rangers' play this season. So there's a recognition, I think, from the hierarchy, from Chris Drury, from everybody in management, that this is just not good enough, that they are not playing up to any kind of standard, and honestly haven't all year. I think there's a bad mix. I'm not sure exactly how this originated, but they knew. Let me go back. When they lost to Florida last year, they knew they weren't going to be able to run it back. They knew they weren't good enough, and they tried to make moves.
Body. Then you fly from Edmonton back to New York. You play a day and a half later.
What happened there? Hold on, I'm sorry.
There's just something off.
I don't know why that.
It's been this way for a while, and so Chris Drury, I think, tried to jumpstart the team by sending a memo to the 31 other general managers that were open for business. I don't particularly like sending messages through intermediaries. I would much rather have Chris Drury walk into the room and demand accountability from the team leaders. But that's where we are now, and I think there's a lot of tension around the room. Their best players have not been their best players. You can look at Panarin has played pretty well, I think, but there's just something off. There's something off in the room.
Okay, so that's the first clip.
Well, I mean, yes, I think I agree with the Crypt Keeper. I believe that he is, there's something off, but he doesn't have a reason why. But I mean, you got to agree with him when he says that the GM should have went into that locker room and said, listen, but I feel like he took like he took the easiest way and the least confrontational way. This guy was. Let me ask you a question. You know more about Chris Drury as a player. I tried to ignore this guy when he was a Ranger. I consider one of the worst captains, one of the worst ever. But was he captain with Buffalo when he played Buffalo or Colorado?
I believe he was Buffalo's captain.
Okay. I don't understand how anybody could rally around this guy. He just look at his face.
I stand corrected. He was not Buffalo's captain.
Oh, that makes even more sense. Come to the Rangers. You're captain, then you're GM.
All right. He was handed a big contract, handed the captaincy, and then handed the GM.
There you go. Amateur hour.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I apologize.
Is that correct?
He was captain. I didn't scroll back far enough. He was captain of the Buffalo Sabres from 2005 to 2007. Okay. Apologies.
He was interim captain while Alex Mogilny was hurt. I don't know. Okay, so so Larry basically saying, the core is kind of like Now there are a couple. I think Panarin has played pretty good this year. There were a Trocheck. I think has played good, but it's kind of like he has. His production is not what it was last year because I think he had a career year offensively last year. So yes, Matt Morello making another comment here that he was handed the GM of Hartford also.
Yes.
Gifted. And he was the captain of a Little League World Series team, Chef. All right. So what else?
Right.
So who's talking next? Is it Brian Boyle? Is it
This
Larry?
This should be Brian Boyle.
Okay.
If I have this queued up right. So let's bring this back out. Okay.
Body language part of it is the part I don't like.
Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you this: how would you react if you were in that room and you knew that the general manager had sent out a memo, probably anticipating that it would be leaked? You can't send out a communication to 31 general managers and not expect it to become public fairly quickly. And so
I wouldn't quit playing.
If you're in that room 2 hours before the game, 3 hours before the game, what are you thinking? What's the conversation like with your buddy in the next stall? Are you motivated for the game that's coming?
Hell yeah.
Or are you thinking about too much that you can't focus on what you need to do?
We're talking about a veteran group. This is guys that have played in the league. These are grown men that, these are adults. You can't control a lot of stuff that goes on. There's certain things you can. And, if you're in a leadership position on the team as a player, you go in there business as usual, get excited to play a hockey game and try and elevate the whole entire room. Like these things are always, you're going to have calls that go against you. You're going to have, the coach he's got to worry about 18 skaters. He might not see who's going right away that night. You might not get the shifts you think you deserve. Different things happen where you have no control over it as a player. This is one of them. And I don't know, if you get attacked, it doesn't matter who it's from. If you got a guy who cheap shots a teammate, you go after him. If like, here's a shot across the bow from a GM or a coach, stand up for yourself and show him why you want to play more and why he shouldn't change things, or why I'm not a guy that you're going to ship out of there. Unless you want to get moved, then go in his office and tell him, move me, because then that'll be better for everybody too. It's things like this where, it's good we talk about it because it's definitely newsworthy, but this is an opportunity for them in the room to come together and say, no, this is our team, and I'll show you how we can play. We'll show you how we can turn this thing around on our own. I saw later in the game, down 2, a puck doesn't go his way, and Panarin did nothing. He didn't even try to get back, and the puck was within a stick length of it. And I'm not coming at him because without him, I don't know what their record is. But you don't think Brett Berard's watching Panarin every shift, his first game in the NHL? You don't think his eyes are glued to that guy, trying to see what I can learn? And that's the point. Like, how we do anything is how we do everything. There's never a time where you can fold, no matter what. Don't give up the ship.
I love that saying, by the way. How we do anything is how we do everything.
Yes.
And until something happens, it's business as usual.
One thing that's interesting is Truba, Mika, and Fox, they were not made available to the media
here
tonight.
you go.
Isn't this kind of on them? Like, shouldn't they be the ones speaking up and taking responsibility for this?
Who's this chick?
Not being
Jacqueline Smith?
What am I saying? Responding to the messages being sent by.
I honestly don't remember her name. I think it's usually Molly Walker with the two of them, but she was pretty good. She just kind of fed them a couple of questions and let them talk.
By the coaching staff and front office.
I had a conversation yesterday, Larry. You could correct me, but I was talking with Michelle Gingras, who worked in Tampa when I was there. When we got in the room in Tampa, on the whiteboard, it would have written on it media, and there'd be 3 numbers. Before I got to Tampa, that was never a thing. We sat in the room, and kind of respected and spoke. If a member of the media came and approached you, you'd speak to them. And if you were me, I could leave and it wouldn't be a huge deal. But Ryan Callahan is in that stall every game. Henrik Lundqvist was in that stall every single game. And Ryan went through, I mean, you could maybe remind me.
Well, there were every night, there were Girardi, McDonough, Stahl. 3 of them sitting, side by each.
Yeah.
Every night they were there. Every night Ryan Callahan as the captain was there. Every night Derek Stepan was there. Every night Henrik Lundqvist was there. It is not just on the Rangers, though, that this has changed. There was a shift around the league. Now the teams have their own, their .coms. NHL.com. All the social media work that they do.
That makes sense.
The independent media is not really needed as much. And so it is it is so different from the way that I grew up. I mean, I would walk in, every player would be there. We
made a point of that, Larry. We said you can't run. If we lose a couple games, you don't run away from the media. We talked about that on practice days when it wasn't going well. Hey, last thing before everyone leaves, stay in the room. Talk to the media. We face the media. We actually spoke of that. Then when I went to Tampa, everything was different, and then it never was the same anywhere I went after that.
Right. Well, I didn't know that it happened that way in Tampa because it did.
I just wanted to pause here. If you wanted to make any comments or anything, we could pick this up again whenever you want. But
no, I mean, I don't disagree what he's what he's saying. But it is a different culture now. But I'm trying to figure what do you deduce that these guys didn't show up, but they just didn't want to deal with it, or
like I said, mentally weak.
Mentally weak. Okay. Well,
I think this team has maybe the most fragile psyche of any team I've ever rooted for.
Wow.
I mean, it shows on the ice, and now it shows off the ice.
It arrived much later in New York because still through really up until when the 17, 18, 19 season was pretty good, and then things started to shift. There was the numbers on the board. There were requests. The original question. It was very disappointing not to see Jacob Trouba in the room last night. It was very disappointing not to see Adam Fox in the room last night. Panarin came out and spoke, and I thought I thought his comments were heartfelt, and I thought they were genuine, and I think they were on point. But the other guys who came out and spoke, and they're terrific kids, and maybe they should be the spokesman for the team. But it was Cooley, Berard, of course, because it was his first game. Braden Schneider talked. It was disappointing. It's a good question. There's something off. And I felt that I remember talking on this podcast, I think maybe the season preview. And I said then that I didn't like the feeling I got from the last week of training camp. I really was so bullish on the team going into camp, even though, they were the same team. I thought, listen, and I liked the way I liked their first week of training camp too. I did. And then something kind of got stuck, and I didn't like their last week of camp. I thought they were going to have a very challenging season. I picked them to finish third in the division. I didn't have them going to the conference final, so I thought this was going to be a challenging year, and it is. it's a very challenging year. It reminds me a lot of 2 years ago. They go to the conference finals, they come back and they just don't play. They just don't play. And that year, though, Trouba was invested. Remember, he threw his helmet when things were going. He had a tirade, and that changed the season around.
Right.
That's not happening now. I don't think there's anyone in there that is going to pull that kind of tirade or what. It's a flatline team. It's a flatline team right now, and maybe Drury was trying to jumpstart it. I think there are rational explanations for last night, but not the way they didn't respond at all in the third period.
Yeah,
they were tired. Okay, St. Louis had a new coach. Okay, but you've got to compete.
No, there wasn't. There was no real threat of tying that game or pressing or pushing. It was a good start.
And you know what? And you know what? I haven't mentioned this at all. They miss Philip Hedl. You can see. God. They don't have a bottom
That's quite
six.
the indictment.
Their top six is having enough trouble.
What's that, Eddie?
Listen. Philip Hedl's played well, but when he means that much to your team, I think that's quite an indictment of where your team is.
Yeah,
but they do miss him. He's been good, but he's you got to hold your breath every time he gets hit.
Yeah, but it causes a lot of like Larry's I think about to say, it causes a lot of upheaval with that bottom six, because you got guys moving around and guys are playing out of position. Capo Caco's playing center, Johnny Brodzinski's playing center. And again, Johnny Brodzinski's not gonna kill you, not gonna wow you.
So yeah,
when you include Zibanejad, I don't know what to say about Mika. Honestly, he's playing so poorly. Maybe he needs a break. Honestly, maybe he does, but maybe that sends him into a deeper spiral. It's obviously in his head, but they have issues with their top six, but they have really no effective bottom six at all without Hedl. So so the Hedl injury honestly came at the worst time. But it's also on them because they have they don't have any replacement for him. And you had to anticipate that this might happen, right? You had to, you couldn't go into the season being confident that Philip Hedl was going to play 82 games. But they don't have a third line center. They're using.
Hey, I will say,
they're using
Capo,
who hasn't played in 6 years.
He played all right. I didn't hate it.
All right.
I didn't hate it. Center. Hey, center's ard. He got the puck through the middle of the ice with speed.
I like the fact that the best thing Brian Boyle would say was, "I didn't hate it."
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it. Do you want to hear more of this, or
I'm done with these guys?
You've had enough. All right.
I'm just saying. No, it was interesting when I heard. I did not know that they have a board with the guys that are going to come out and speak. Right? Is that what he was saying?
Yeah, that's
That not everybody is sitting around in the locker room and they can just go up to them, and it's funny because even our interactions with the younger guys or seeing the interactions with the beat reporters, the younger guys are speaking real,
right?
Like Will Cooley, Matt Rempe, and even Panarin. Even in this, as they said, even through probably an interpreter, was his. It was heartfelt. He's speaking, truth. The fact that you don't have your captain, your assistant captains coming out there. And bringing it all the way back to Goodrow, I know everybody wasn't happy with the contract, but he was an assistant captain.
Right.
And they got rid of him. But that's another leader that you've cast aside. And now apparently nobody wants to take ownership. And Brian Boyle's right. My only thing would be Brian Boyle sticking up for teammates. I never seen you win a fight. I never saw you do anything productive on the ice. Except
Nobody was
scoring.
tougher with a referee in between him and another player than Brian Boyle.
Hey, but again, those who can't do teach. So maybe that's his lane. But Brian Boyle, for his size, and he was a good player. He was definitely a good player. I mean, ask Henrik Lundqvist. He scored 14 goals against them
in one game.
So, yeah, they've you talk about a guy who I believe, I was a Goodrow fan. I didn't like the contract, but the guy showed up. He got rewarded by getting 6 goals in the playoffs by fucking getting traded.
Right. Waived. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still, there is no had. Sorry, Rock, I disagree. I'd rather have Goodrow than have gotten Riley Smith and then nothing. Mikko Makala, he's a good guy, but that was cap related too. Anyway, you can't go back in the past. You got to go forward. You got to move forward. And what is going on?
I know everybody's obsessed with how many goals Jack Roslovic has scored. I know everybody wants to say that he wasn't coached right here, or he wasn't right, or he wasn't milked right in the morning when the sun came up or whatever. But the guy played on the first fucking line with Mika Zibanejad and Chris Kreider. What more could they have done for Jack Roslovic? Sometimes a player takes a while before it clicks. Mike Knuble had to go play for 2 other teams before he became a superstar after he was with the Rangers. Sometimes guys it just clicks. Jack Roslovic may next year go right back to being the 7-goal scorer that we know and love.
20 goals this year. He might just stop.
I mean, sometimes it just clicks for a guy, or things just go right. Brian Boyle had a 20-goal season. And then what? Nothing for a lot of the rest of his career. Sometimes the puck just goes Inski. I don't know what more the Rangers could have done for Jack Roslovic. So let's not get the tribute video out just yet for Jack Roslovic.
Yeah, I agree. I saw enough of Jack Roslovic.
I mean, the odes to I wish Jack Roslovic. Well, how do you know he'd still have 12 goals? He'd have 12 goals playing with Kreider and Zibanejad, because Kreider doesn't assist anybody, and Mika's playing like shit. But last year the guy was on the first line.
How much opportunity do you want?
What done for Jack Roslovic, except go out and get Gretzky and Curry to play with him? I don't know what more they could have done.
And he was a nothing burger in the playoffs. All
right, look at Brett Howden. I mean, all of a sudden, Brett Howden's having a good season, but how many years have passed since Brett Howden was here?
Yeah. And what has he got? 6 goals? Every goal he gets, you think he's 50-goal mark.
You got a 5-year extension, too.
I wish him $1 billion.
He can go ahead and buy a house out in Vegas. Wow. He can go ahead and buy that house. Be living out there and out there by Red Rock.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Roslovic, if he was on this team, it would still it's not going to solve any problems.
Hubba. Hello.
Wow.
My woman just got home.
Yeah, he went hubba. Something must have been going on over there. I know you had that sly smile on your face.
I always have that sly smile.
Nah. I know. You got somebody was not wearing exactly what they should have been.
She's in a sweatshirt and sweatpants, hand to God.
I don't believe it.
She's just come from the beauty parlor.
The beauty parlor. Beauty. So look, he's all blushing over there. Look at that.
Excuse me, Mr. Johnert. I don't often like to disagree with you. Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area is in Nevada. I was there. I got my pictures. I'll show you the pictures.
Yes, the really crowd.
The actually
crowd.
Actually, Red Rock Canyon.
Where is the vaunted power play? Well, I think they're sitting around 12th or 11th. The penalty kill. Some of there are some good things. There it is. Why did this even come up in conversation with Red Rocks?
Because I said Brett Howden could go buy that house out by Red Rocks.
Oh, okay. So that's right. Now JT Miller Rock has exploded himself.
Now they're trying to get him back. Rumors.
Yeah. I don't know how to get out of this. I feel like I'm in one of those, is it appropriate to call those Chinese finger traps? Can we call those?
Chinese handcuffs?
Yeah.
We still call them that?
I don't know. Are we allowed to? Is that racist?
I don't know.
I know you can't call them. Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah, I'm not even going to go there. All right, so hiking. Please, Patty Duke, don't even get me started.
What's wrong?
Hiking is useless.
It's walking in heavy boots.
Oh, let me go up this hill, see a tree. Yay. Let's look at the sunset. You know how much I love those. So, hiking. Well, that's why you're in good shape, Patty Duke. That's why you're doing the hiking and stuff. Me, I hiked at Chick-fil-A, McDonald's. So anyway, yeah. So I don't. So those are the clips. So what Larry is saying, it's Drury shouldn't have done that, and then Boyle countered with, "Well, you gotta be excited for the game. You gotta
be professional.
You gotta be professional." And I
that's
think
what he's saying. And I get that, but again, I'll just say that anybody who's in any kind of workforce, and you work for a boss, and we all serve somebody, if your boss walks in and says, "I've decided I'm looking for better people than you are, and I've let everybody know it," go back about your day. I don't know. That's not easy to do.
That Checkers is back in business, Rock. Have you been scouting me? You've been hanging out on Fortune Road there?
He's watching you.
It's good. Good. Check in with me. I saw his kids the other day. You see that?
Very
beautiful
nice.
Daughters.
Very beautiful.
What have we got here? Oh, this is the Wheel of Blame. It's
this
back.
Is the Wheel of Blame has arrived. Just in.
All right.
The virtual wheel. Eddie, do you want to go ahead? You want to read what's on the wheel, or?
Yeah. Some of these I'm not familiar with. Petey, I guess Laviolette's got green gum now.
He's got that spearmint gum he's got going on there. He's chomping on.
Keandre, pack your bags. That's already my favorite.
Keandre, pack your bags.
Igor Eyesore. I don't think anybody could save the Rangers. All right, the Tin Men.
No heart.
Yes, they got no heart. I like this one, the Tin Man. Joe Micheletti sucks.
That's just there just because.
Oh, Sam. I worked with Jack Hughes' mother.
I was at Wawa with Jack Hughes' mother.
Oh, I slipped to the old Micheletti subway. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yes. And then the shelf defense.
Yeah, the defense is on the shelf.
Yes.
Shelf defense.
Shelf. I like that one. Scoro no moro. Yes, that the scoring has been down.
That's a little throwback to Opera Man there on Aaron Voros.
Voros no moros. You're scared of the Bambinos.
Right.
The amateur GM. That's right. Amateur hour. Mika's Malaise. And Trouble with Trouba.
Trouble
Troubles.
Trouba Troubles. Right. I was gonna put the trouble with Trubas, but it wouldn't have all fit on the screen.
Ah, okay.
In the spoke. So I just put Trouba Troubles. So you
Uh,
ready to spin?
yes.
All right, here we go. We're gonna spin the wheel.
The reason the Rangers suck is self-defense. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The wheel of blame.
The wheel has spoken.
The wheel has spoken.
The wheel has spoken.
And I think it's very accurate. Yes.
I like the fireworks behind it.
Yes, I like that. Eddie, give us 20 seconds of the mouth.
Shelf defense.
I don't think I have a cough drop of around to do the mouth voice.
Or a pretzel. You used to use a pretzel too, right?
Yeah.
A pretzel rod.
It took a lot to get ready for that. Who needs the mouth when you got all this fun wheels and all kinds of gimmicks going on here? I love it. Reminds me of the old Uncle Floyd show.
I don't know. This just popped into my head, but I remember the first time Eddie called me on the phone. This was back in 2009, and said, "Jim, this is Ed Geik. This is my normal voice. Yes. This is what I sound like."
I have a. This is totally off topic. Yes, I had to come out to Jim.
Right.
Say, I don't really speak like this. I have a normal voice. This is for our IT people. I bought a scanner, and I plugged it into my computer.
A police scanner?
No. Scan photos. Police scanner. What do you think? I'm on the lam?
We got a 1015 on Lake Ronkonkoma Boulevard, and then he's sitting there charting it. They're coming, Chris. They're coming close. Get the armory. Get the rifle.
We got a 1015. We got Rock is hanging out at the Checkers, looking for Ed.
No, I got a scanner for the computer for the pictures.
Oh, gotcha.
All right. And I plugged it in, and it ain't working. All right.
All right.
And I think it's because this scanner, I hooked the USB in there, but the other end of the USB is not a USB. I'll actually show it to you. It's this wire right here. Okay. That's not a regular USB. I don't know what this is called.
Is that USB-C, it looks like?
Is that what they called it?
Hold it up a little closer to the camera. Yeah, that looks like USB-C.
Now, it wouldn't complete the driver software because it never recognized the scanner. Now, I'm hooking this into a PC, and the diagrams had pictures of me, pictures of hooking it into a laptop. He got me. Does that make a difference? Should that make a difference? Like this UPT, what do you call this? A UPC code? What do you call this?
USB-C.
Do you think it's because of that?
Well, where did you plug the USB-C into? Into the laptop?
Scanner. Into the scanner.
Oh, into the scanner.
And then there's a USB that plugged into the back of the PC.
It should be able to read it then, as long as you've got it connected.
Is it oval shaped? What's oval shaped? I'll show you what
your USB-C. See, I got one here too, but I can't. It doesn't reach. It's short.
I'm too old for it either. That's why I'm using you guys, because you're my geek squad or my geek squad.
Your geek squad. There you go.
Okay. I don't. Is it oval shaped? What's oval shaped?
The
my head, yes.
The USB-C connector. Yeah, it should be. It looks like it is.
I mean, I know this has turned into like tech with Eddie, but right here, this is where this USB-C thing goes. You see?
No, I can't really see it there.
All right. Well, right here, this thing here.
Okay.
That's where the US. And then I put it in, and then I put the other end, which is the USB. And I tried to install the drivers, and it got to a point where it said, I know. I bought this at Best Buy.
Well, then Best Buy should help you with this. They have professionals.
Yeah, I'm gonna just have to go down there. I don't know. I don't see why it's not working. I don't understand.
The guy that he met at the 7-Eleven from Facebook Marketplace seemed very reputable when he sold it to him.
Sir, I don't do that kind of transactions. I think Mario has it right. This is exactly what's going on in Drury's office right now.
Right.
If somebody help me with this.
Police scanner would be easier to hook up.
I don't understand. It should just work. I mean, I put you to the drivers. Please don't use me. I don't know what's going on here over here. And I'm considered the computer genius of the family. That's how bad it is over here. All right. So maybe I'll get Chris Jonathan to come over. He can help me. He's my tech guy.
He'll straighten shit out over
Now,
there.
do you have an iPhone?
Of course, I do.
All right. Well, I feel like
just upgraded recently, actually.
I
Got
feel
the
like there's a
16
lot of
Pro.
snobbery with the iPhone people.
I think it's on both sides, actually. I think people are just very loyal to their Android or their Apple, and their
Right.
I don't particularly. I have nothing against Android. I just like Apple better. I have an iPad. Apple just the whole family has Apple. Everything goes together, so that's what I use.
When I plugged it into the computer, recognized the device was added. No, it didn't. All right. Well, I'll work with it tonight. So you don't think this should work?
The guy that's still carrying a Motorola flip phone is telling me the Google Pixel is better.
No, I have a smartphone. I just upgraded. I've got a new Android. I got one of those Obama phones.
The Jitterbug.
The Jitterbug. What's the one is the Jitterbug with the big keys?
Yes. Yeah.
I may need that soon. Jitterbug. All right. So we tried to solve the problems. We tried to solve my scan.
We didn't solve the Rangers' problems. We didn't solve your problems.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try it. I think if it recognizes the device, but it shouldn't matter that I'm plugging it into a PC or a laptop.
No, that should not matter.
Right. All right. Okay. See here on the instructions. What the fuck am I doing here?
Step by step, easy to use.
Easy to use. I couldn't even fucking figure it out. All right. I like that Jitterbug. I can't see anything anymore. Where am I? So, anyway, thank you, I guess, for joining us tonight. We have anything else to show? No, I don't think so.
I don't really have anything else. I hope they figure this out. I hope you figure out your scanner, and I hope you figure out. Lots of people would spend $1,000 for
a lot of people do. The whole country does.
Right. What do you care? It's not your money. What do you care how much I spend for a phone?
Yeah.
I spent $4,000 on my phone. and then I dipped it in gold.
Yeah. All total, it cost them $60,000. If you got it, you spend it, baby. That's what I do. Me a bag of shells.
I had it, and it went just as fast.
Just as fast, baby. That's how you roll.
What do you care?
Yeah. Exactly. He cares. What can I tell you? All right. Well, listen. I wish you a million iPhones.
I wish you a million iPhones.
I like that. All right, enough of this tech talk.
Bunch of snooting, highfalutin people.
Yeah. It's called normal. This is the norm. All right, boys and girls. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you all for being here. I hope we made you laugh. I hope we entertained you.
I had a good time. You know what it is? I'll get my wife on the case, and she'll fix this thing in a second. All right.
Eddie, always a pleasure.
Yes.
We will see you guys next week. By the way, I hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving. We didn't.
Yeah. I did.
But Rangers off till Friday, then 3 games in 4 days. Pittsburgh Friday, Seattle Sunday, Chicago Monday night. So we'll see you maybe Tuesday night next week. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Take care, guys.
We love you.
Prepare for pain.
Take care, guys. Good night, everybody.
Did you see what Cutter said? I wasn't entertained.
Sorry. My
condolences.
Right. Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers. Go
Good
play
night,
your,
everybody.
Go simulate the 1999 World Series, you moron.